Yemen was always a place where the tribes had an influential role in politics. Throughout the many dynasties and empires that ruled Yemen, the tribes played a crucial role in taking power away from the corrupt kings and empowering the people of Yemen. One of the most influential and revolutionary tribal leaders in Yemeni history was Sheikh Nasser Al Qardaei. Sheikh Nasser Ali was born in the year 1885. During this period, Yemen was split into two. The north of Yemen was ruled by a corrupt monarchy which was backed by the Ottomans, and the south of Yemen was occupied by the British Empire, who used the southern city of Aden as a shipping port. The monarchy of the north oppressed the people, hoarded wealth, and watched the people suffer from famines and starvation. Meanwhile, in the south, the British slowly began to expand their territory into the mineral-rich region of central and eastern Yemen. This region was known as Hadramaut and was ruled by various nomadic tribes who were independent from the monarchy. The British made treaties with many Hadrami tribes and made their territory into British protectorates. However, after the British began exploiting their natural resources, cutting off their water supplies, and stealing their livestock, many Hadrami tribes, such as the Aulaki tribe, revolted against the British. At the same time, the northern monarchy also wanted to protect its territory and gain influence in the Hadramaut region. Therefore, many battles took place between the northern monarchy and the British in the region of Hadramaut. However, eventually King Yahya stopped fighting the British and made an agreement with them, which granted the British vast amounts of land. After the death of his father, Sheikh Nasir Ali became the leader of the Al-Murad tribe in the Marib region of northern Yemen. His father was a tribal leader that worked for King Yahya. However, when the young Sheikh Nasir Ali became the leader of the tribe, he began to disobey King Yahya and he began to openly speak out against his oppressive policies such as the hoarding of wealth and making agreements with the British. Although he was from northern Yemen, Sheikh Nasir Ali traveled to the south to defend his fellow Yemenis against British occupation. Sheikh Nasir Ali attacked the British in the south and disobeyed the orders of the Yemeni king in the north. Sheikh Nasir Ali played a huge role in keeping the British from penetrating northern Yemen and attacked British positions in Hadramaut and South Yemen. On one occasion, Sheikh Nasir and his tribal force attacked the British territory of Bayhan, inflicting huge losses on the British. Shortly after this attack, Sheikh Nasir Ali was imprisoned by King Yahya as this attack violated the agreement between the king and the British. A few months later, Sheikh Nasir Ali was released from prison after various tribes mediated on his behalf and asked the king to release him. While he was in prison, the British took advantage of his absence and conquered the oil-rich region of Al-Shoba. This move by the British was against the initial agreement made between the British and the king. After being released from prison, Sheikh Nasir Ali was outraged by these British actions, and he appealed to King Yahya to allow him to fight the British. This time, King Yahya allowed him to go and fight the British as they had violated their agreement. Imam Yahya also promised to send reinforcements if needed. In 1937, after receiving the king's approval, Sheikh Nasir Ali marched towards Al-Shoba with his tribal army. Within a few days, Sheikh Nasir Ali liberated the entire region of Shoba from the British invaders. Sheikh Nasir Ali also cut off the roads from the south and Hadramaut and stayed in Al-Shoba to protect the people against another potential British invasion. Two years later, the British returned to Shoba with a large force which consisted of tanks and planes. Despite heavy British bombing, Sheikh Nasir Ali and his tribal army stood their ground and kept fighting the British for several weeks. However, eventually Sheikh Nasir Ali was forced to retreat as he did not receive the reinforcements which were promised by King Yahya. Sheikh Nasir Ali was outraged by King Yahya's failure to send reinforcements and marched towards the capital, Sana'a, to demand an explanation. After Sheikh Nasir Ali and his tribal army protested in front of his palace, King Yahya admitted that he had signed a new treaty with the British, which granted them the region of Shoba. This was the last straw for Sheikh Nasir Ali, and it had become clear that the king was becoming a British puppet and granting more and more northern territory to the British. Therefore, Sheikh Nasser Ali Qardaei labeled King Yahya as an infidel and a British agent. Sheikh Nasser Ali began to rally people against the king and called on the tribes to revolt. Many marginalized tribes joined his rebellion and attempted to overthrow the king. However, this revolt was brutally crushed by the forces of King Yahya. Sheikh Nasir Ali was imprisoned and sentenced to death. However, he escaped from prison before the sentence could be carried out. Sheikh Nasir Ali broke out of prison using the traditional Yemeni knife known as the Janbiya and took refuge in the territory of the Al-Hushaysh tribe. Sheikh Nasir Ali remained in hiding for many years and the king could not find him. Sheikh Nasir Ali re-emerged in the year 1948 when a group of Yemeni intellectuals led a massive revolution against the monarchy. Millions of Yemenis protested in Sana'a and demanded that the king step down. The revolutionaries appealed to Sheikh Nasir Ali for help. Sheikh Nasir Ali responded to the call and managed to rally dozens of tribes to join the revolt. By February 1948, King Yahya Hamiduddin realized that his regime was on the verge of collapse. Therefore, he attempted to escape the capital with his bodyguards. On February 17, 1948, Sheikh Nasser Al Qardaei and his forces ambushed King Yahya's vehicle in the south of Sana'a, and Sheikh Nasir Ali personally assassinated him by shooting him in the head. After the assassination of King Yahya, a new constitutional government led by Abdullah ibn al-Wazir was established. However, this new government only lasted a few weeks. A few weeks later, Imam Ahmed, who was the son of King Yahya, entered the capital and re-established the monarchy with the help of loyal tribes who sacked and looted the capital. The leaders of the revolution were executed, and the head of Sheikh Nasser Al Qardaei was hung in front of the famous Bab al-Yaman gate in the capital. Sheikh Nasir Ali Al Qardaei is remembered as a freedom fighter who stood up to the British and the corrupt monarchy. His name is respected in northern, western, eastern, and southern Yemen. Although he was an illiterate Bedouin who never had a formal education, Sheikh Nasir Ali contributed to social change and raised his voice against injustice and tyranny.
العهر والعان جاهية المقام الشروع والدم بالدم المقام الشروع والدم بالدم يا رجال العز على الحمية يا جبل مران يا قارن العجب يا جبل مران يا قارن العجم يا شوامخ يا قمم معتلية يا شوامخ يا قمم معتلية بلغي كل القبايل تزلم بلغي كل القبايل تزلم البكيلية مع الحاشدية البكيلية